Hey everyone, Assalamu alaikum. I'm Bia. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome for the first time. I help women tap into their power, cut the crap, and uncover the true purpose of their soul, as designed and intended by God. If that is something that resonates with you and you want to awaken your feminine intuition, declutter your life, and finally live intentionally, hit subscribe and tap the bell icon so you never miss my videos. Now let's talk about something we all experience but rarely address: energy leaks. Recently, I had a talk with a client and we were discussing her progress in her manifestation journey. And one of the questions that she asked me was, how do I choose myself? Like everybody says here and there that choose yourself, always remember to choose yourself. What does it mean? Well, here's what it means. It means to choose where your energy goes. If you have been manifesting and you've gone through the whole cycle of, excitement, getting your desire, the 3D changing and then suddenly not changing and then panic and anxiety and then, the whole cycle basically, you know that you've experienced exhaustion. That exhaustion is not just physical, it's mental, emotional, and spiritual as well. And here's the real issue. You're leaking energy in ways you don't even realize. It is leaving you frustrated, unfocused, and very far from the life that God wants for you. Far from the life that even you want for you. So, today we're diving deep into the 4 types of energy leaks: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And we'll unpack how these energy leaks happen, why they're so common, and most importantly, how to stop them. This is not just another self-care chat. This is real talk because, see, your energy is sacred, and wasting it is actually holding you back from becoming the best version of yourself. And it creates a hindrance when it comes to your manifestations because we're just so tired, we're unable to receive our blessings. So let's fix this. The first type of energy leak that I'll talk about is your physical energy leak. And how does this happen? Well, you're running on fumes because you are overdoing it. Doing favors for people who don't appreciate you, going out of your way to please everyone, and ignoring your own needs. For example, you're cooking for 10 people when you're exhausted, or constantly saying yes to errands that someone else can handle easily. And let's not ignore the best way, the biggest way women leak their physical energy: by neglecting their appearance and self-care. Appearances are really important. Dressing up, getting all made up, doing your skincare, hair care, feeling like making ourselves pretty makes us feel good. But you're so busy doing so much for other people that you stop taking care of yourself and you just don't have enough time. Maybe you skip your nighttime, daytime skincare routine. Maybe you don't even have a hair care routine. Maybe you throw on whatever's clean and tell yourself, oh, it's not a big deal what I look like. I am a mom, I am a sister, I need to do this, I'm a wife, I have so many responsibilities. I cannot show up for myself and other people. But, well, it is a big deal. When you don't invest that energy into yourself, first of all, you don't look good. Honestly, I'll be blunt here. And when you don't look good, and you don't feel good about yourself, you start, feeling insecure about your appearances, and you start feeling insecure about your relationship, and that sort of insecurity sort of manifests in different spaces. You start feeling drained and unworthy. It happens usually because you think probably that being selfless is your job, or that prioritizing yourself makes you selfish. So it's either one or the other. Especially in these, South Asian cultures, from what I've seen and heard from my clients, women are taught to give endlessly without expecting anything in return. But has God ever said that to you? That women, you need to destroy your lives to serve others? I don't think so. Start putting yourself first. Get dressed, even when you're staying home, even when you're not someone who works. You don't need an excuse to feel and look good. Prioritize your rest and invest time in activities that recharge you. Before you got married, was there something that you liked doing that made you feel good? Before you had kids, was there something that made you feel good that you used to do? It could be anything: painting, writing, drawing, walking, talking to friends. Healthy friends, not toxic friends. being around animals, volunteering, anything. Do prioritize activities that recharge you and make you feel good. But most importantly, learn to say no. For example, instead of agreeing to host a dinner when you're feeling overwhelmed, simply say, I would love to, but I can't right now. Taking care of yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. There was a time during my college when I had to visit a relative. My parents wanted me to visit a relative. And, well, it wasn't my parents per se, but those relatives wanted me to visit them because they lived near my university and I had no choice but to go. In the beginning, I resisted a lot because I had exams, I had presentations, I had so many commitments. And I said no very clearly. I knew I didn't want to go. I had so much going on, but I felt pressured and I ended up going. And I felt awful because I missed it. When I came back, I barely had any time to rest. I barely had enough time to recharge myself before being, thrown into the academics. I learned, this is just one experience, but I've started being more intentional about the kind of where I place myself in different interactions. If I'm feeling physically drained, and even if I have an appointment with a client, and I know that I will not be able to show up for them in a way that would help them, I have a conversation about that can we reschedule? Because I really want to put my best foot forward. Same with my workplace. If I am not physically well, if I know that I feel tired, I'm not getting enough sleep because of the work, I'm not getting enough sleep because of my other commitments, everything is piling on to me and I'm feeling drained, I will set a boundary. I will not say yes now when I want to say no, when my body wants to say no. This is not about me being lazy, it's more about me knowing my limits, physical limits, and knowing that if I only want to put my best foot forward. I don't want to waste my energy picking up slack or, trying to overcompensate by being extra nice, especially when I'm unable to be my authentic self. To summarize this, start putting yourself first, girl. Get dressed, put that makeup on, do that skincare, hair care, feel pretty. Feeling pretty will make you think pretty. The next type of energy leak that you're doing is the mental energy leak. You're stuck in your head, constantly overthinking and worrying about things that don't serve you. Whether it's replaying past mistakes, stressing about the future, or comparing yourself to others on Instagram. Oh my god, Instagram. In all of these things, you're draining your mental energy. You'll spend hours analyzing why someone didn't text you back, or worrying about whether people will like you. And in this process, what are you doing? You're leaking all of your mental energy. You're letting all of those pointless experiences take up brain space. What are you doing? You're overloading yourself with distractions. When you know you've got a problem or a responsibility or a task. But when you worry yourself with how you're going to accomplish it, you create this build-up. You overload yourself with distractions. You become so fearful of the million things that could go wrong instead of the one thing that could go right. You start distracting yourself by scrolling mindlessly, endlessly on social media, or filling your mind and body with junk content instead of focusing on what truly matters. Why is it happening? Well, we overthink because we crave control. We distract ourselves to avoid uncomfortable feelings, but the more scattered your thoughts are, the harder it is to focus on what Allah has planned for you. The harder it is to focus on gratitude. The harder it is to focus on the bright side. The harder it is to think about that one possibility where everything will work out. You need to declutter your mind. You need to limit social media and ask yourself, does this thought or activity bring me closer to my goals, or is it just wasting my energy? If you know that as a woman you tend to overthink, get up and move. Exercise. Go for a walk. I remember that a time when I felt most energetically blocked, my mom made me go and take yoga classes. Yoga was something that I'd never done before then. And I started doing it. And in the beginning, it felt like strange. Being in a room with a bunch of women, working out, all different ages. It felt really strange in the beginning, but then I got the hang of it and actually helped me navigate my energy better. I noticed where I was, where my energy was feeling scattered versus concentrated, and what both those things, how both those things impacted the way I showed up. If you overthink, replace it with movement. Work out. Do anything. Walk. Stretch. But don't sit still. Journal. Write things down. Dump your feelings and then let it go. Or simply make dua. Talk to God. Your mental energy is precious. You need to protect it by focusing on what you can control and trusting Allah with the rest. You leak your emotional energy when you're giving too much of your emotional attention to things and people who don't need it. For example, if you're stuck in a toxic friendship, constantly pouring into someone who never reciprocates, or you're obsessing over a specific person while trying to manifest them into your life, checking their every move, wondering what they think, and doubting yourself because they haven't shown up the way you wanted. First of all of these things are affecting your manifestation because you're constantly anticipating negative feelings associated with these people. You're anticipating things not working out. When you're worrying about what are they thinking, you're giving them the power, you're giving them the energy, you're giving them your energy away, and you have little left for you to be able to control your thoughts. You're living in their world instead of them living in your world. Instead of inviting them into your world, you're forcing entry into theirs. This blocks your manifestation. But the other thing that it does, it leaks your energy. It makes you feel scattered again. Another thing that, another form of emotional energy leak is holding on to grudges and past pain. So, yes, your SP hurt you, or your family hurt you, or you have some kind of past trauma. And you're still carrying that anger and letting it weigh you down. Some things are very difficult to move on from. So if you know that you've been through something that's traumatizing, awful, get therapy. Go for therapy options. Get help, because sometimes when we are in the situation, we cannot navigate it because we're biased. Get external help. But if you don't want to spend on therapy, first of all, why? I mean, you're okay spending money on pizza and food and filling yourself up with unhealthy food, but you can't, or watching a movie at the cinema, but you can't invest in your own mental health or your own emotional regulation. You can't invest in taking care of yourself. Get a coach. Get a coach who's unbiased and who actually knows what they're doing. And then when you get them, actually implement what they're saying or doing, or they're telling you to do. If you can afford none of that, there are so many people on YouTube, on the internet. It's not just for games and TV shows. There's so many people in podcasts that are actually helping you, giving you free therapy. People sharing their experiences in life and telling you how they navigated tough spots. Maybe you can find someone that you can relate to. Instead of overly consuming or finding manifestation content or content like that, instead of looking for quick fixes, look for people that actually went through what you're going through and how they came out of it, how God never abandoned them. Get free therapy then. This is a form of therapy. People are sharing vulnerable moments of their lives and, giving you the space to understand objectively how they navigated it, so now you can learn from them. But I'm sort of giving you therapy too. Coaching, right? But if you don't want any of that, if you can't take it, then talk to God, right? Honestly, I do that a lot. In moments where I feel stuck, absolutely crushed, and I don't know what to do, well, I talk to God. Ultimately, when we do this, when our emotional energy leaks, it's usually when we're at the core level, we're seeking love. So it's not something awful and negative, but it's very pure, but very misdirected too. You're seeking love and validation or closure, but from the wrong sources. You want people or situations to fill the emotional void inside of you, but that's not their job. Only Allah can truly give you the peace and the love that you're looking for. Do you honestly read the Quran? I know you have once or twice, but you understand it. I don't know Arabic, and I'm learning it, but it's a process. The thing is, I can't call myself a Muslim if I don't know what my God is telling me to do. If you read the Quran, and if you read, different surahs, you're going to find moments where God is talking to the Prophet and telling him how, yes, the pain is there, but so is God, and God is bigger than your pain. You need to stop giving your energy to people that drain you, situations that drain you. If someone is not meeting your emotional needs, set a boundary, walk away. If you're manifesting your SP, still walk away. Shift your focus back to yourself. Your worth is not tied to their attention. In the 3D, when you say ignore the 3D, that's what it means. Focus back. Shift the focus back to yourself. Forgive all the misbehavior for the sake of Allah, like we discussed earlier. Let go of the past and prioritize relationships that nourish your soul. If you have pure friendships, spend time with them. Spend time with people that are making you feel happy, because when you radiate that happiness, when you're vibrating really high at a high frequency, that's going to attract in or invite in blessings, right? Because then you are entering the state of gratitude. And when you invite in blessings, your SP comes. But if you're constantly dwelling on them, on their absence, well, it's not going to work. Set boundaries, walk away, let those people come in themselves. Give Allah the power. And He already does, but in your head, give away your power. Stop taking control of it. Give away the control to Allah. Let Him make all of these situations easier for you, rather than constantly hyperfixating on the 3D events. So the last type of energy leak that I'll talk about is your spiritual energy leak. It usually happens when you neglect your relationship with God. Maybe you're skipping namaz. Maybe you're not making dua because you're like, I'll make it later. Or you're putting your faith on hold because you're too busy. You're too busy manifesting your dream life that you just don't have time to think or talk to the original manifester. Allah, Ya Zahir. Or you're filling your heart with distractions, basically, like binge watching Netflix or gossiping, instead of nourishing your soul. You're neglecting your soul. There's this perspective that you're not a body with a soul. You're a soul with a body, which means that you live on, right? You cannot die. You cannot ever die. Souls cannot die. Souls can transmute from one form to another, like from being alive to dead, from being in a body, at one point, and then being released from the body at another. But ultimately, souls live on. So when you don't treat them, or when you don't align with it, your soul suffers. When you're disconnected from Allah, everything else in your life feels off. You're constantly searching for peace and purpose, but can't find it because you've forgotten your spiritual anchor. It happens when we get so caught up in the desires in the dunya that we push our deen to the side, thinking I'll make time later. We push our purpose to the side. But the thing is, with spiritual energy, again, it doesn't replenish itself. You have to nurture it daily. See, God never leaves you. God never abandons you. He's promised that He's there, right? He's there. We are just ones that sort of don't show up in this dynamic. We fall short. We become lazy. We become, hyper-fixated on certain outcomes and, end up delaying our namaz. We need to rebuild our connection with Allah in this situation. Start small. Do some zikr while you're cooking or cleaning, mindlessly. Or you could even be more mindful if you have time. Make time. Pray on time. Read one ayah of Quran every day. After namaz, in a day, if I feel like, okay, I don't have time or the energy to go through a whole verse of Quran, if that's something that the devil tells me, that, you don't have time, I said, okay, fine, I'll just do one verse. I do one verse. Then it automatically go on to the next one, and to the next one, to the next one. God is this beautiful, the presence of God is this beautiful magnetic experience. You just have to tap into it. And once you do tap into it, God will invite you in. He will come to you. It's going to be the most beautiful bonding experience. And you know that. You know it. Your spiritual energy is the foundation of your entire being. You are the soul with the body. Remember, when it's strong, when your soul is vibrating at a high frequency, everything else falls into place. Now it's your turn. Think about all 4 of these energy types: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Which ones are you leaking the most? Drop a comment below and let me know what you thought of the video. And if this video spoke to you, like it, share it with a sister or friend who needs this message. And well, don't forget to subscribe. Girl, your energy is sacred. Stop scattering it. Protect it. Align it with Allah's purpose for you. And if you don't know what your purpose is, let Him guide you. Surrender for Him to guide you into your journey, your path. He has big plans for your soul. Once you surrender to this, just watch how everything in your life transforms. Thank you so much for watching. See you again in the next video. Assalamu alaikum. Allah Hafiz.